This video was sponsored by Squarespace. Hello and welcome, it's Jess here and we are going to continue this month's art challenge. In case you've missed it, I've put together my own prompt list with words that symbolize and evoke positivity, and I've been completing one per day. In the previous videos of this series, I showed you guys how I started my sketchbook, and my goal is to complete it by the end of October, filled with all these prompts. We have already done prompt number 1 together. I'll have both parts to this art challenge linked down below. And in this video, I'll be showing you my process for all 7 illustrations for the next 7 days. Next up is prompt number 2, one of my favorite things to do, smile. With each prompt this month, my goal is to really put symbolism into each element of the illustration. Here, I'm choosing colors that would genuinely make me smile. I'm not really limiting myself to any specific medium this month, but for this piece, I decided to mix some colored pencil and watercolor. For the character I chose to illustrate in this piece, I wanted to incorporate my favorite fluid line work I enjoy doing, some happy smiling fruits, some typography, and a collection of bright colors. I wanted it to be bold, fun, and exciting. When looking at this illustration, I wanted it to be an explosion of happiness, since smiles are an instant mood booster. By the way, I decided to make these first 2 prompts, Paradise and Smile, into this month's exclusive Patreon rewards. And to let you in on a little secret, I brought back a fun little pumpkin design, and this year it's a beautiful glossy vinyl sticker. If you want to check out exclusive rewards, head over to my Patreon and check them out. Oh, and I hope this illustration made you smile. I was always fascinated with the beautiful characteristics of antique keys. So for this next prompt, I decided to make a bunch of key characters and also bring back the little characters from my opening spread of the sketchbook. I wanted them to be interacting with the keys, so some of them are hanging on the keys, some are playing catch, but I really thought it would be a cool idea to simply make some key characters. For this piece, I'm using a fountain pen with some brown calligraphy ink. I received many questions about this in the previous videos on what pen I use and what ink I use, and as always, everything will be down below linked in the description box. I really enjoy the process of inking with a fountain pen, and I also absolutely love doing cross-hatching. I recently have been experimenting with some waterproof ink, and then some simple shading with some watercolor on top. Personally, this whole process is super therapeutic to me. I usually play some really calming music and just let the pen find its way around. And it was a lot of fun finding different shapes and characters in these antique keys. You'll be surprised with where your imagination can take you. Once the inking process was complete, I mixed a few washes of watercolor and lightly filled in some shadow areas that I wanted to put a little bit more attention and color to. I chose shades of pigments that symbolize a bit of a rustic feel to them, but can also be playful. I chose mustard yellows and warm browns and some cool greens, and I think that this provided a pretty cool variety amongst all these key characters. Do you guys remember these little helper characters from the opening spread? Well, to make them pop and have a little bit more contrast, I decided to make their shirts striped red and their pants and shoes red as well. This way, even though that it's a diluted red color, they'll pop amongst all the other colors of the keys. And here's how the finished spread came out. I think this one was super fun and actually very therapeutic to draw, and I'll definitely have to do some more prompts with ink throughout the month. Up next is day number 4 and prompt 4, and before we continue with some satisfying line work, a quick word from today's sponsors. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that you can use to build your online business. Whether you're building an online portfolio or a shop, they have the best award-winning templates, and they're suited for any category. I set up my website so that I can have my online portfolio along with my shop, and I've been using Squarespace for the past 4 to 5 years, and I've spoken about them so much, but I cannot recommend them enough. They also have 24/7 customer service. Whenever I need help or I need a question to be solved, it's answered within minutes. And that's a huge plus running an online business. Head over to squarespace.com for your free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/JessCarp for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Let's jump right into line work with blue calligraphy ink. Day 4's prompt is flow, and instantly after thinking of the word, I think of water or the ocean. I wanted all of the line work to have a flow as well. And looking at the line work now, they kind of remind me of the waves that I did in my skateboard painting video. For the blue line work, I diluted some ink with some water and then created all of the line work with a thin brush. I took my time and just had fun with it, and I have to say it was really exciting to paint. The ocean was definitely an inspiration for this piece, and I'm glad I was able to bring that symbolism into it. The next prompt is glow, and for this piece I really wanted to make an illustration where the girl is glowing from underneath, and what's providing the glow are some really beautiful floral patterns. I want the color palette to be as if she's kind of glowing in the dark, and my goal was to challenge myself with a different type of lighting and really push myself outside of my comfort zone to try something new. I'm starting off with really light layers of watercolor, and once I've gotten the base of the line work along with her skin tone, I began mixing a beautiful deep blue-violet color for the background. Alrighty, so for the next prompt, we have clover. Clovers themselves are really hard to come across. So for this piece, I wanted to create a big garden of giant clovers, and since clovers symbolize good luck, and overall I think they're super beautiful, I thought that would fit perfect to the theme. I usually don't go for green to be the primary tone of a piece, but this was a nice little change. But I focused on creating a specific mood, especially with the little guy discovering this huge forest of clovers. I chose a darker blue tone to add some contrast in the near leaves, and for some extra glow I added colored pencil. And here's how it turned out. Okay, that was Radiate. I wanted it to speak for itself. But last but not least for this video, we have Hummingbird. In a recent vlog, I played around with a wet on wet technique. And with this piece, I wanted to play around with it some more. I also tried to keep my colors as limited as possible, and I chose to do some magenta pinks and more of a bluish green for the leaves. It's really fascinating to see what the watercolor does and how it performs when you do a wet on wet technique. I learned that each paper performs differently, so it's really interesting to see the different textures you can get with each different paper. As I was painting this prompt, I realized I was keeping it very delicate, and I love the transparency that the watercolor was creating. Sometimes I really want to do something that's super bold, and sometimes I want to keep it delicate and transparent. It's all about what mood I tend to create. So this is definitely something that plays a huge factor whenever I'm creating my artwork. I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you all for your kindness and support. You guys are incredible, and the fact that we can all create together this month is really just a beautiful thing. I'll see you all next week for the next 7 prompts. Stay creative, and I'll see you then.